Welcome, everyone, to Master Health Center's podcast, where we discuss everything on Chinese medicine and Chinese martial arts. I'd like to welcome Kevin and Andy here with us. And so, before we begin, we'd like to ask everyone to help us out to like and subscribe our Master Health Center YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube, Master Health Center, and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also to like and subscribe the Alpine Harbor channel. And that channel has all of our Tai Chi videos, step by step with our Tai Chi form, so you can learn and to practice at home. And so I'd just like to have everyone to go and to like and subscribe and to help us out, spread the word. And so, but I'd like to today with our podcast, we're going to discuss on stress management. Stress and
It's
everyone has an anxiety, and it's always been like a big thing in the U.S., especially in the United States, on stress. I just read a thing from the American Institute of Stress, the American Association of Stress, I think that's what it was called, and said that at least 55% of people in the U.S. have some sort of stress, high stress, and that it's been pretty prevalent, stress and anxiety. And so,
as modern life goes, it's becoming more and more stressful, and people's life is where it's sedentary is becoming, we're not able to deal with the stress in the same ways we could 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And all that stress leads to anxiety, depression. And so I'd like to ask Kevin to talk about, Kevin has had a lot of anxiety in his life and has struggled with that. It's a real thing that happens. And I'd like to have him ask and talk to us about his experiences with anxiety.
So in 2009, I got a job at a call center, and the stress there was, I've never experienced any type of stress like that in my life.
Like customer service?
Oh, yeah. Doing tech support. And it was 2 years later, I was actually I had been switched to a new account, and the stress had gone, exponentially higher. I thought I knew stress working just with one or two devices, but when I had to cover anything people called in for that was a technology, that's where it changed, because sometimes we had no idea on how we were going to handle it, how we were going to troubleshoot it. And one day I was just barely got off a call that was about an hour and a half long. And that's a short call for our call center. And all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. My mind was racing so fast, I couldn't talk. And I had to kick a chair of the person next to me to get their attention. And that's when the management came over to me, and I couldn't tell them what's going on. I tried, and they were trying to find a paper bag for me to try and breathe with. And later my boss told me he was like 10 seconds away from calling 911 because I could not breathe. I started panicking, and it kept on getting worse and worse. Well, my boss told me I need to go in and get tested. And so I did, and I was diagnosed with severe general anxiety disorder, which means I never know what's going to trigger my anxiety. It could be something as simple as I could be watching a show and something caused my stress level to go up, or a customer could say the wrong thing. And we've seen that happen a few times at Master Lou's. One time comes to mind. I don't remember what happened. It was when I had my office where Andy's office is now. The lights were off, and my anxiety was so high. I went in there and I was sulking. That's what it felt like. I was sulking. I was hiding in the dark, and you happened to pass by coming from the gym, and you look at me and you're like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "No." That's all I could really do is say no. And you took me in and treated me. And but this having general anxiety disorder is a life changer, because you can't do everything that you used to. Going into large crowds, no, I can't do that. I just and some of the symptoms. Now, the symptoms vary from person to person and from anxiety to anxiety attack. There's times where I'll just have a difficulty of breathing, from a mild breathing to straight out just can't breathe at all. My mind races, and it feels like almost every single one feels like you have a weight on your chest, anywhere from 50 pounds to 500 pounds. And so, when I tell people about me having anxiety, a lot of people will dismiss it and say, well, everyone has stress. Well, yeah, everyone does have stress. But when you have severe anxiety, that's a life changer. That you can't even compare to the stress everyday people have.
I just want to say thank you for sharing that. Like, I can hear it in your voice when you go back into that memory, the memory of being in the call center. Like, you can hear in your voice how that anxiety, just the memory of going through that moment, how your voice changed, you know? So thank you for sharing that. And that's not very uncommon, right? Thousands of years ago, people in China too, they were suffering through anxiety as well. So there has always been stress in the world. I totally agree with you guys that the stress seems to be going higher, especially in our economy, you know, in our present day. People have been suffering through anxiety for hundreds, thousands of years, apparently, according to our texts. So a lot of the symptoms that Kevin mentioned, where he had difficulty breathing, right? You're right. And also, you notice your heart becoming what? Did your chest become tight?
My chest, well, you could describe it as a tightness of chest. For me, feels like someone's, like you're putting weight on someone's chest. And that probably is the worst feeling, because you add that to you're starting to have a difficulty breathing. You don't know what to do. When I started at Master Lou's, I knew I had anxiety. I don't remember if I came out and told you guys right away that I had anxiety issues. I think later we discussed it. And I mean, even now, because I have severe general anxiety, when I get my driver's license renewed, I have to have a psychologist sign off saying it's okay for me to drive. And so that's one thing I have to do now, is because I have to find a new shrink, because my old one, I have no idea, because of COVID, she had to shut down. She was doing everything remote. I don't even know if she's still around. So I've got to find that, or else I lose my driver's license.
So anxiety is a real thing. It's a real disease. People have been suffering from it for thousands of years, hundreds of years, you know. In Chinese medicine, the channels mostly affecting anxiety heart channel and kidney channel.
Yep.
Could you elaborate
Heart.
more on that, Master Tyehao?
So the heart channel, the kidney channel, and even the liver channel, a lot of times are mostly affected. What's interesting with in Chinese medicine, we a lot of times we talk about the emotions. The emotions in our body are attributed to disease, can cause. So it's not saying that the emotions will directly cause the disease all the time. It's the imbalance of those emotions. So the emotions that we have that in Chinese medicine, you have anger, you have happiness, sadness, fear and fright, and grief, like that. And each emotion is attributed to the organ system, to the channels. So like fear and fright is with the kidney channel. Happiness and joy is with the heart channel, like that. And so a lot of times the heart channel and the liver channel and the kidney channel will be a main cause of like the anxiety or even stress, the emotional disturbances. In Chinese medicine, the heart houses the mind. And so things like when you're having the stress and anxiety, you'll have insomnia, thinking a lot, overthinking, all of that. And when that happens, it just goes out of balance. The liver is attributed to the free flow of qi throughout your body. And so whenever there's no free flow, then the liver can get out of balance and cause that, your people get irritable, get angry, agitated,
That is true.
stuff like that. And so there's a stagnation throughout your body. And so we look at that, we say the Zhuayin channels, Shaoyin channels. Those are the ones that are more affected when there's those anxiety, emotional problems. And so how do we help? We look at we see what the causes, those roots of causes. How do you treat anxiety and stress?
It's a good question. From a diagnosis perspective, I like to check the pulse. Usually, well, if someone's coming in here and telling me that they suffer from anxiety, that's a real thing. So I'll still check their pulse to see if their pulse is very rapid.
Yeah.
And that would dictate whether I put needles in the front or in the back of their body. But I also like to check an area or have my own patients check the area, what Kevin was talking about, where he feels like his chest is tight. Usually between the nipples, right here in the center of your body, there's an area called, well, we named it in English, REN 17.
Yeah.
So that area is usually very tight. And I get a lot of positive feedback when I select point selection, acupuncture points, that just helps relieve this area here.
Yeah.
And when I do that, the response is almost always, I feel like a big weight has been lifted from my chest,
Yeah, right
I
through
can
there.
breathe easier too. When you were saying like when you get these symptoms, you have trouble breathing, right?
Yeah.
So when I relieve this area of pressure, pain, or even if it's just feeling weird, the results is almost always, wow, like a big sigh of relief, like they can finally just breathe through it.
Yeah, and one of the things with Run 17 too is you can massage it yourself. And so when you're at home, if you're having the anxiety and maybe your chest is getting kind of tight and stuff, you can massage through there. For those that are listening, it's in between the breast, the nipple there, right on the sternum in the middle. And you can massage through there. Use the side of your thumb and you can massage right in that area to help just push that point, help relieve that pressure, the tightness and stuff.
Yeah.
That Run 17 is Tanzhong, so that is a very important point. Will also help with like your energy and stuff, help and boost your energy.
I'll have to remember
When
that
you-
one next time I feel sleepy at work.
Yeah.
Now, when you mentioned about people get angry and stuff as part of the anxiety, that is spot on. When I was at work and I got done with the call, and I could tell my anxiety. I had to start realizing when my body was going through anxiety and everything. I didn't realize that my anger would go up. And when I realized that, I told my boss at the call center, and she was like, okay. And then after calls, or even during calls, I'd start getting angry. She'd come by and tell me that if I don't calm down, they're going to fire me. I'm like, how is this going to help get over my anxiety?
It'll give me more, right?
And it was making it worse, to the point where because I was working Master Lou's and the call center at the same time for I think it was like a couple 3 years. Yeah, because it was 2017 I got fired. So I was working there 3 years. And it came to a point where I was having 4 major anxiety attacks a day at the call center. I was scheduled 8 hours, but I would only be working like 2 or 3 because I could not function. And that's not life. It's a horrible way to exist. And I was getting frustrated because my therapist didn't want me on pharmaceuticals because she says all of them have a side effect where they can cause anxiety attacks. Every single one of them. And she said, that's not going to help me at all.
Well, that's where Chinese medicine helps with anxiety and stress. We just talked about diagnosing. You feel the pulses. We look at the tongue. You palpate other areas to see what the root of the problem is and what is going on, whether it's a disharmony with the heart channel or disharmony with the liver channel, what channels affect, or the kidney channel. And then we'll use the acupuncture, use the Chinese herbs. One Chinese herbal formula that's very effective for anxiety is 逍遥散, we say. And so we usually use at our clinic 价位逍遥散. Yeah, 价位逍遥丸. And 价位逍遥丸and 逍遥丸, they're the same formula, but when we say 价位, we add 2 herbals that will help clear heat in the body. When there's like stagnation, so we talked about liver qi stagnation, the qi, then the blood's not flowing right. Whenever there's stagnation, then there's heat that will be generated. And that heat causes that anxiety, the agitation, the anger, the mental disturbances.
Yeah.
And so we have to clear the heat. And you can see it when you're feeling someone's pulses or you're looking at someone's tongue. You can see the heat. You can feel the heat in their body, especially
Rapid
when
pulse, right? Heat.
Anxious. Yeah.
Big red tongue.
Yep.
Signs of heat.
Yep. And so we'll use the acupuncture, and then use the Chinese herbs. 嘉味逍遥散 is one of the herbal formulas that will definitely help. There's a whole bunch of herbal formulas that will help with like calming the mind, but it's all according to the diagnosis of the patient.
Yeah.
So it's more tailored to the patient. And also nutrition.
Yeah.
The heart channel, kidney channel, when that's out of balance, you can eat like lentils and kidney beans that will help harmonize the kidney channel. And then also eating a lot of different vegetables, very important, a lot of different colors. So we say, eat the rainbow. And so all the different colors of vegetables.
How about foods that will cause anxiety? What to stay away from?
Oh, you want to stay away from like greasy food, spicy food, um, that type of like a lot of sugar. You want to stay away from that, especially when you are prone more to anxiety and stuff. You want to not eat processed foods as much, and so all of that. And then with your vegetables, you need to cook your vegetables, steam them, things like that. So don't eat too much raw. I'm not saying you can't eat raw or anything, but you don't want to eat too much raw. There still has to be a balance there. But with like sugary foods and spicy, greasy, that would cause you to be more prone to having anxiety and stress
So
and
what we
stuff.
put in our stomach would affect mind as well, right? So the
Yeah,
heat that we put in our stomach based off the foods, we say that heat will harass the mind.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
And
yep,
just
yep.
like we were talking on the way here or out before the podcast, how I had that spicy stuff from Domino's, that chicken wings, and how it disturbed my sleep. And
Yeah,
that's a prime
yeah, because
example.
of the heat, cause you to not sleep.
So I like so Kevin mentioned he had trouble sleeping last night, and because of he did mention that he ate something and it was very spicy, right?
Spicier than I normally would have for my chicken wings.
I was like very spicy. What time did you get up? He said I've been up since in the a.m.s, early in the
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
morning.
said
was
2 in the
two
Yeah,
in two
morning.
in the morning is how long I've been up since.
and you said your mind just wouldn't shut off,
Nope,
right? And I
nope.
said, wait, you had spicy foods before you
Oh
went to
yeah,
sleep?
I almost felt like I was getting ready to get a lecture about not having spicy food.
So, but right there, I made the connection. Oh, you ate something spicy, went into stomach, and then you try to go to sleep, and then your head is rummaging all
Can't
night.
sleep.
Yeah, that
It's
heat,
too heat,
yeah,
too hot.
exactly. In your large intestine, in
Yeah,
your stomach, it's rising up and harassing mind.
Yep.
So stuff like that. Diet does play a big
oh yeah.
factor into it. Mhm.
So when you're treating anxiety, Andy, how many treatments do you recommend typically?
Yeah,
Do you
it
think?
all depends in what people, like what's going on in someone's body. Again, like if you're a young person in your mid 20s and like this is your main complaint, maybe within 3 sessions you're gonna feel a huge difference. I do get that. I am good enough. I guess I can say that in one session, you're gonna feel relaxed. Like
Yeah.
basically that first session, even if you're a lot of pain, a lot of people leave there saying I feel more relaxed. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty easy in terms when I pinpoint and I find exactly like what area in your body is associated with your complaint. I get a much better response. You know,
Yes.
not just in the front of the body. We talked about in the front of the body how it gets tight, but even in the back of the body, like around your left shoulder blade, people will have pain there, and they don't make the connection with that and their anxiety symptoms. What I like to tell people is that, well, what sits directly in front of that area in your back, and they'll make the connection. Oh, it's my heart. Yeah, this is the back part. This is
Yeah.
the back part. So you're having symptoms back here, and I'll put points to relieve that area. And again, like they can
Yeah.
breathe. They feel like a big chest has been like lifted from their a big weight has been lifted from their chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or that nagging pain that they had in the back of their shoulder. That is just, I guess they couldn't make the connection. That pain was also making them more agitated. And when I get rid of that pain, well, there's nothing like poking you anymore. There's no
Yeah.
there's no pain that's always like in the back of your mind throughout the whole day. So that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I would like to say that since working at Master Lou's and you've helped me immensely with my anxiety. When you were treating me early on, I could always feel a huge difference in how I was with the anxiety. And I still have anxiety. I don't think it's something that will ever go away. It's like, but through what you've taught me as far as acupuncture, um, like massaging right there when I start feeling anxious. The Jai Wei Xiao Ya Wan, I can't stress enough how wonderful that is.
Yeah.
And then introducing me to Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Tai Chi has been probably the biggest help in my battle with anxiety. When I was able to do Tai Chi on a regular basis, it was almost, I mean, to this day I think I have maybe one anxiety attack a month, maybe every 2 months now.
Yeah.
So
It's gone down quite a bit.
Yeah, I can actually function as a good employee
better
now.
And yeah, and that's very, your experience with the acupuncture, with Tai Chi, with the Chinese herb. That's the power of the Chinese medicine, on how it can help with stress, anxiety, depression, to transform your life.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm treating anxiety, again, like what you said, it kind of depends on the person, on how many treatments. But I usually do a first course of between 5 and 10 treatments of acupuncture, as well as given herbals, and then we'll reevaluate, reassess. So those that don't know the process, that's typically usually how it works, using about 5 or 10 treatments, and then we'll reassess and then go from there. If you need more, you need more, and we start spreading treatments out. But a lot of times you'll feel a big difference even after 3 to 5 treatments. And that's where, we're always assessing, seeing if we need to adjust different points or different herbals or whatever. And then, but the power of the medicine is very effective with that.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are watching on the YouTube channel, you can also do, and even listening, I'll explain it on the podcast, like the acupressure. And so if you do experience anxiety, you can push different points on your body to help, relax your body, relax your mind, calm your mind, help you to get more focus. And one of those points are what we just talked about on the chest, Run 17, Tanzhong. And so you can use your thumb. It's in between on your chest, on the sternum, right in the middle, in between the nipple lines. So right in between, and you can push that area. You can massage that area. The other point is called intang. And intang is in between the eyebrows and right in between along the nose. And what you can do is you can use the side of your thumb, and you can lay down, and you can push, and you can massage straight down, just like that, down in between your eyebrows. And as you do that, you lay down, you can breathe, and that will help as well. And another point that's very effective is called Yongquan, and that's on the foot. So on the bottom of the foot, in between the second and third toe, halfway, a third of the way down. So if you look, pretend this is like the foot, and you go 1/3 down, that area you can push as well. A lot of people will even roll, their feet. You can roll your feet and even like soak your feet. That will also help with anxiety. So those 3 points are very effective. If you're just, if you're at home, you're starting to feel a little more stress, maybe some anxiety coming on, then you can push those points. And so I think that's very effective for those things. Any thoughts, Andy, about self-management at home? Or
Self-management at home, I like exercising and breathing exercises.
yes.
Breathing is very good for anxiety, right? There's a huge connection between it. I also want to touch real quick. I think we kind of missed this, like for women, their symptoms when it comes to anxiety can be a little bit more different. Their bodies get affected different. Like when a woman who's having trouble with their monthly cycle, you know,
Yes.
and they have a lot of anxiety, there's totally a connection between it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we calm the mind, when we help calm someone's anxiety, if they're having trouble with menstruation, like those troubles will start to like just kind of disappear, because there's
Mhm.
definitely a connection between mind, heart, and the female reproductive
Yeah.
organs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what's interesting about acupuncture itself, because biomedically, acupuncture will release the chemicals, the neurotransmitters, the hormones that will help control all of that. So things like the endorphin, the cortisol, it'll help balance all those hormones and the chemicals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
And then
biomedically,
we also see it with infertility.
yeah,
Like it's hard for someone to get pregnant when they're like, I guess if they're trying so hard, you know, they're giving themselves more anxiety and they're stressing themselves out more. So again, if we help with infertility by calming someone's anxiety, you know, for the woman's anxiety, so that they're when they're not as stressed, their body functions
yeah,
more
yep, definitely,
more efficiently.
yep,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good topic to talk about, and
Yeah.
for those that are having experiencing anxiety and stress and have a hard time knowing what to do, feel free to call us at Masters Health Center and go to our website, and you can schedule an appointment to come in.
Yeah.
And I think we can help you.
Yeah. And for those that don't live in the greater Salt Lake area, you can find qualified acupuncturists that can help you in overcoming your anxiety.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Go
For-
get acupuncture wherever you live at.
yeah,
Acupuncture and the Chinese herbs,
yeah,
well, together will help definitely.
yeah,
And then if you want to learn Tai Chi and do some Tai Chi exercises, go to the Alpine Harbor YouTube channel. So it's Alpine Harbor, and you can like and subscribe and start to follow the Tai Chi there.
yeah. Tai Chi has been, I'd say that's the golden one for me that's helped the most, because it helps me to, uh, it's helped me to learn how to focus my mind better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does. And that's been, the acupuncture is great. The herbs are great. I love them both. But Tai Chi,
Mhm.
it's a game changer.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
physical exercise,
Yeah,
right?
it's long
Yeah.
term,
Mhm.
that's what it is.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for your insights and thoughts. And
Yeah.
yep, and for those that are listening, we'll see you next time. And thank you very much for listening and watching to us. And remember to like and subscribe our Masters Health Center's YouTube channel, as well as the Alpine Harbor YouTube channel. Thank you.